darling, it's time to rest and find a home. Here comes the hounds, didn't you know? Here comes the hounds, and I say it's for life. Hounds for life. Hounds for life.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Hounds for Life podcast. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed the first one. You're in for a real treat this episode, as always. I'm Shanna, and this is
Maya.
And yeah, we're gonna just launch straight into it. Here we go.
So in our first segment, we take you to the North Island of New Zealand, to a little a town called Fielding, where Nightrave Greyhound is situated. Nightrave Greyhound is run by Fatima and Rachel, two wonderful women who decided they want to dedicate their lives to rehome ex-racing greyhounds into the best places they can get. They are now doing this for years. Fatima will enlighten us on that, also why they did it and how actually it is to run a rehoming agency, and if what if anybody else can do it and what's to be considered. So that's super interesting, and it's really the start of for you guys having a retired racing greyhound is to have actually a rehoming agency. Without that, nothing would happen. So we are very grateful for this interview, and you also get to see the beautiful little farm they put up there. I probably wouldn't say it's an animal sanctuary, but it's definitely an animal heaven. And they have sheep and
Chickens.
And
they even have an inverted chicken, which is like a chicken with inverted feathers. And I named them all.
Oh, wonderful.
Stuart, but they were female, so I marked that up. The second segment for this episode is one that we've pieced together. It's a how-to segment, and it's how to prepare your home for a home check. So before you adopt a greyhound, you apply, as Fatima will discuss, and if your application goes well, then you will have an inspector come to your home and they will inspect your home. So they're making sure that your fences are adequate, that your home is adequate, that it's safe, that it's going to be a good environment for these wonderful, wonderful dogs to go into. So we're going to run you through that. It's pretty cool. And hopefully we have some fun. You can come along with us. I'm sure there'll be some sort of laughs. Yeah, and then we have got...
We go to Beth, but before we go to Beth, I probably want to talk a little bit about what is different if you adopt an ex-racing greyhound or if you go to the SPCA and get a dog there. Because there is a difference. You barely get a pure breed at the SPCA, right? You have a lot of wild mixes there. They definitely need a home, but a greyhound, an ex-racing greyhound, is a purebred. Not only a purebred, but it's also purebred since thousands of years.
One of the oldest.
And we are actually talking about the history of greyhounds in the next episode.
So interesting.
Oh my god, I'm so
interesting.
excited.
It's like my new hobby. I'm a historian.
That's amazing what we find out. So greyhounds are very valuable. They pay thousands of dollars for the puppies of a greyhound, and if you are lucky enough to become the caretaker of a retired greyhound, you have a very, very valuable purebred dog for only a fraction of the cost, which is the adoption fee. And so that's a difference I want to point out.
I think that's also it's like important to point that out.
Yeah.
Because they come from a very different background to some animals.
So then we are heading over to Beth. Beth, she's such a cute girl. Actually, lady. She's
a woman.
She's a woman. She's a very grown-up woman. We have fostered Beth at Hounds for Life for I don't know, few months, I think, or weeks. I actually cannot remember.
Generally not very long.
Not very long, actually, because Angela will tell you how she met Beth, which was completely accidental. And so she's here in the nearby city in Blenheim, calls her new home. and we had the joy to go there with our camera and take footage of the beautiful home of Beth, and the owners are talking about how it is to live with her, and I think and the daughter is there. She is so cute.
So cute. And she has chickens. Bev has her own chickens.
Yeah.
She's very good with them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to show you that.
Yeah, awesome. So in the fourth segment after Bev, we are going to take you guys to our kennels here in Picton. And we're going to introduce you to our foster of the week, who is Star.
Star is a star.
She is a star. She's very sweet. We actually collected her and brought her down here with 2 others in our Greyhound van. So cool. And she's not been here long, a couple of weeks, and she's settling in really well. She's very sweet. She's found a new friend there.
Yeah. One of our volunteers.
Yeah, which I'm sure you'll see it all.
That's a beautiful thing about Te Paranui, where it's all year round hosting woofers from all over the world. Woofers are, did Danny mention that?
Yeah.
Willing workers on organic farms. And they come and live there, and they get to look under the supervision of us also after the greyhounds. And I have actually talked to a couple of woofers before, and they said to be able to look after the greyhounds was actually also a strong point for them to apply.
And that's not even the reason they really came here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. Where are we going then after that? Yeah, of course we're taking you on a bushwalk this episode.
With the greyhounds.
Of course, with the greyhounds.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed us strolling around Picton. That was so hard to film, walking with 4 dogs. But I feel like if it was for any other breed, it would have been so much more difficult. They were really good.
So are you telling you don't want 4 greyhounds?
I think I would do it. I would do it, but I'm trying to control my hoarding tendencies, so let's not encourage me. But yeah, they were really good, and lots of people on the street were like, wow. I was like, yeah, just out for a casual stroll. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, the Picton bushwalk will be awesome.
Yeah, great. So we are going on a bushwalk at the Queen Charlotte Drive, which is a very scenic route, and a lot of tourists come here just to go on this route with mainly their camper vans.
And their bikes.
People
cycle it.
Amazing route. It's a windy road through the bush alongside the Pacific Ocean, the Marlborough Sounds, and it's just, it's just stunning, and we are so used to it now, living here and having it every day. But I do appreciate that. I still know the first time I've been here, I was falling in love completely with this nature. And there you can even take your car, and you can even take your dogs. We have a new build pathway for bikes, pedestrians and dogs. The whole way from Picton to Havelock.
Yeah,
and
which is quite a distance.
That's quite a distance. We may look up how many Ks.
Yeah, we'll pop it in. We'll pop it in. Yeah.
And the good thing is you have access points, and you can decide to park your car and exit at one point and just go a portion of the walk.
Yeah. And I feel like greyhounds wouldn't walk the whole.
No.
I mean, you probably would give it a go, but
I don't think
mine is so lazy. They'd be like,
no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Awesome. So what have we got actually coming up next week as well?
What are we coming in the 3rd episode? We talked about we want to feature the history of greyhounds, right? And we will have an owner's interview. Have we decided yet who?
Yes, we have decided.
But we don't give it away.
No, we won't give it away. It's the sweetest home, sweetest greyhound, sweetest family. Yeah. So cute. But we won't give it away. No. Because then, you won't watch it.
Okay, let's go into it.
Cool, sounds good. Awesome. Have fun, guys.
Okay. And see you later.
So now we're off to our first segment, which is Fatima at Nightrave Greyhounds. And she's going to enlighten us on all things rehoming agencies. Have fun. Off you go.
Welcome to the Hounds for Life podcast expert interview. I'm here today in Fielding with lovely Fatima from Nightrave Greyhounds. And she runs the rehoming agency for greyhounds together with Rachel for quite a time now. And I'm very excited to have her on the show today. And we learn everything about rehoming agencies. Welcome, Fatima.
Thank you.
So the first question is, how does an adoption agency work? Can you take us through a typical adoption process from the start to the end?
You mean when a person applies to, yeah.
Where does it start?
Well, it starts from a person submitting an adoption application to us. In that adoption application, we have certain basic questions which we'll ask these people, and our terms and conditions. Basically, this is a start. This is just so that we know that they have fencing and that they have a potential to be responsible dog owners. Why I'm saying this is because, unfortunately, in New Zealand and elsewhere, we have a big percentage of unresponsible dog owners. So we have to be very careful where we put our greyhounds and with whom.
Wonderful. So you have a person, how does he even know about you?
For us, it's usually word of mouth. We are both dog obedience and behavioural trainers. And we have an open door policy, meaning everyone can come here and meet the greyhounds at any point of time. It's usually word of mouth, although we do put some of our greyhounds on social media when we have nice photos of them. And we also put a couple of them at the time on Trade Me, basically just to have a presence there as well. So if a person, say, is going on Trade Me to see what's available, they see two of ours. We have about 40 to 45 greyhounds up for adoption at any point of time in Fielding alone. Plus we have our Christchurch and Picton like little satellite adoption kennels. So if you take satellite kennels into consideration, it will be over 50 to 55 greyhounds at any point of time ready for adoption. So yeah, we basically just put a couple of them on various sites just to sort of, you know, let people know we're here.
Yep.
We don't put everyone up. Most dogs are never advertised anywhere because we simply cannot have the time to do pictures and write-ups of, you know, 50 dogs. We would have to literally employ somebody to do that. That's like a full-time job, really. So we are not doing that, but so far so good. You know, it's working really well because people like one dog that they see on the internet, they come here, meet 10 others that will suit them.
Fell in love with 20 others.
Yeah, and then take one home out of those. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how we do it. We do a lot of home checks, we do a lot of follow-ups, reference checking with person's vet if they already have dogs. Reference checks by other greyhound owners. For example, if parents have a greyhound or greyhounds from us, they can vouch for their daughter or son.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
nice.
So that saves us a bit of time, and we also have that type of reference.
Great.
Yeah.
So Fatima, tell us, when is a greyhound ready for adoption?
So greyhounds are a bit like people. Like it's a living, obviously, being. So they're all different. Some greyhounds are ready for adoptions pretty much after they recover from the sexing. Some need 1 month, a couple of weeks, say, of socialization training, you know, getting used to stuff. Some need 4 weeks, some need 4 months. Some need more.
Well, how do you know that it is ready for adoption?
So basically we do a variety of assessments. We have a big volunteer contingent, if you like to call it. We have volunteer with children. They're all rostered to come in here and expose greyhounds to, say, children, to, say, you know, loud cars, to various stuff. All our greyhounds, all of them, go to a dog club classes, dog training classes and fielding dog club. So we can see how stressed they are or how reactive they are, or if there's any issue there, or if they see, you know, if they find anything stressful there. So then if we find, for example, the dog is not happy with loud traffic, then we're just going to quietly train him or her to walk in, you know, low traffic, then moderate traffic, then high traffic. And that will take us maybe 4 weeks. So basically with whatever issue we find, we will work on that issue, whatever it is. And to see whether the greyhound can relax over time. And if he doesn't, then we just say, okay, this dog, for example, doesn't like loud traffic. So we will look for a quieter rural home for it. So it's all about knowing the dog. So they're ready for adoption when we know all about them.
Ah, yeah, thank you. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So last question, Fatima. What made you to open up a greyhound adoption agency? And can anybody do that?
It's I would say one thing that I always tell people who ask me this is there is no money in it. Okay, it's a 24/7 job, and don't think you will make money. If you break even, you're very lucky. Okay, you cannot forget about the holidays, going away and that sort of stuff. So you really have to love it. You really have to love it, and your heart has to be in it. Yes, anyone can do it. Obviously, you will have a lot to learn. You know, you shouldn't just go head first in it. Find a mentor, find an adoption agency who can help you with it and guide you through. But yes, they're lovely dogs. It's very it's very, very satisfying thing. And I mean, we here work, and I'm not exaggerating, 16-hour days, and it's not hard because we just love it.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is so good. Thank you so much to be on the show.
No problem. Anytime. Anytime.
Great. Saying bye. I really enjoyed our trip to Nightrave and see all the animals there, and learned so much about how to run a rehoming agency. We might become one too in the near future.
Keep your eyes peeled, family.
So we thought it was a good idea for our makers section to make a video for you how to prepare your home for a home check. Because when you want to become a greyhound owner of a retired ex-racing greyhound, you would have an inspector coming to your house and check out whether this is the appropriate environment, safe and adequate for the greyhound to live in, and to give you more insight in how that would look like, what you would like to do, what you would have to do to show your home in this light. Yeah, we prepared the next section for you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Have fun.
See you later.
Hi everyone. So today I'm here at somebody's property, and I'm going to talk you all through how to do a home check. So first off, we're at the front doorstep, obviously. This would be a really awesome place to put a baby gate. So you could put one, you could possibly, either if you didn't want a baby gate at the front door, you could put one here, maybe like a more permanent one. and that way you can have the front door open. This family doesn't, which is cool, but that's just a suggestion. So the baby gate's always good because if you're opening the front door, like say if you're bringing back the groceries and you don't want to use the back door, it's always good if you're opening the front door, and then they're not going to just pop out the front door. So yeah, cool. So we've got the front gate, the front door, and we'll move on to some gates. Oh, hello. Okay, so here we've got a smaller wooden fence, but this is still a really good size. Obviously your greyhound's not going to jump over that. They tend to not jump unless you teach them anyway. So we've got this wooden one here, which is a perfect height. And then we've got a couple of greyhounds. And then we've got a smaller gate that's used for opening and closing and going through. And it has a little latch. So as long as this latch is down, then you're pretty good. And even if it's not down, I mean, they're not really going to fit through that. So this is really good. This is an awesome setup. So we'll move on to the backyard. Come on. So here we've got the backyard, and this fence is honestly phenomenal. This would win Fence Award of the Year. It's, as you can see, this is Ashley's a small greyhound, but she's never going to get over this. And they can't see through them either. So if you have dogs that aren't great with cats, then they're not going to really get wound up, which is awesome. The backyard's a really good size. That's pretty important. You don't want them living in a tiny area. However, some greyhounds can be apartment dogs. They just have to adjust to it. It's not that they hate small spaces, it's just this is good for going to the toilet. Here we've got the second gate for accessing the backyard. This is awesomely sturdy, and it has like a really intense lock here, and it's super stiff anyway, so you know they're not going to jump through that. So we're at the back door now. I just wanted to discuss the back door because there's stairs, and when you get greyhounds they generally don't know how to walk up and down stairs. So these stairs are awesome. They're a really good size for teaching them how to get up and down stairs. You don't want to start with something too intense because then they're going to be like, whoa, too many stairs, scary. So these are really good. There are two greys that live here and they don't have any trouble with the stairs. One jumps up and down and completely skips the stairs, which isn't ideal, but that's just how she does it and it works out fine for her. So we'll go through into the kitchen and we'll show you a little bit of space and where is a really good space to have your greyhound for the first few days. So here we have Tui, and he's gonna demonstrate the crate. So when you get your first greyhound, or your second or your third or your 10th, it's really good to have them in a crate when you first get them. Say if you leave home for an hour or so, you can leave them in the crate, and it gives them a feeling of a safe space. So quite often when people do adopt a greyhound, we recommend crate training them. Some have been in crates and some have not. Tui absolutely loves his crate. However, my girl Ashy is not as keen, but it's not that she hates it. She just doesn't like getting in. But once she's in, it's okay. So all you do is you set them up with a bed and a blanket, however many you like, and then you can put water in by either putting a space for a bowl or hanging a bucket, which is probably ideal as they wouldn't spill it. And this is, as I said, really important because it gives them a safe space. If you get a greyhound and you take them home and you just give them free range of the house, it can be quite overwhelming for them because quite often they've come from the racing kennels and that is like their safe home. It's just like a bedroom for us. This is like their bedroom. So it's really important and it really helps them transition into pet life. If you didn't want to do a crate, you could always section them to one area of the house. For example, we're in a kitchen right now. And so if you wanted, you could shut the kitchen door and the back door in this example, and you could have them in here. You could have either a crate in here open, or you could have a bed in here for them and a water bowl, and then that way they have one room, so it's not as overwhelming for them. It would be like you moving from a tiny house to a mansion. It's quite overwhelming and it can be really tricky on them. So when we first got Tui and Ashy, we trained them in a crate and it was really successful. We had no issues. They were really easy going. So cool. As you can see, he loves this crate. He's like, woo, I'm off to sleep. Alrighty, so our third segment this week is an owner interview, and we are blessed to interview Bev and her wonderful family. So Angela and her daughter Paige are going to show us around their home and their backyard, where Bev has created her own personal run. I don't want to give too much away because it's very sweet. It is. But yes, come along and have a look at Bev. She was the first Greyhound foster that came to Hounds for Life, which
has been rehomed in the area,
which is phenomenal, and she's just so sweet. Honestly, there's no other way to describe her. She's a queen. She is a queen. Awesome. So have fun.
Hi Angela and Paige, and Beth, welcome to the Hounds for Life podcast. We are so excited to have you on our show because you were our first owners that ever took a Greyhound from Hounds for Life home. And we are keen to see how she's doing now and what your experience was with adopting a ex-racing Greyhound. So just straightforward, tell us your Greyhound story. Where did it start? Why did you want a Greyhound? How did you find us? And how did you finally found them?
Mike, my husband, has always had dogs in his family, and so the girls enjoy being around the dogs when they visit his parents, and so we decided that we'd like to have one, though we had an elderly cat, so it was put on the back burner for a little while, and we researched quite a few different dogs that we'd like to have, and decided that a Greyhound would be good for us. And it was a little bit by accident because I came out to Te Paranui for a different reason, to have a look at another course that they were holding with some children, and we were looking at Greyhounds, and I saw Bev and thought that she would be just perfect, so it went from there.
That is fantastic. So how did you prepare to bring Bev home? What was your concerns, for example, and what did you do?
We didn't really have too many concerns. We knew that we had a fenced property to keep her in. We had some advice from Maya to put some tags on some of our fences because she may not realise that they're there and run into them. I guess we brought dog bowls and beds and kennels and things like that for her, but we didn't really need to prepare our property much more than that.
Did you have other pets that you had to introduce to the Greyhound, or the Greyhound to the pets?
Oh yes, we did. We had a cockatiel, so that was quite interesting. Maya gave us some advice on using a squirty bottle so that when Bev got too close and too interested, we'd just squirt her with some water, and after a couple of times she got it in her head that she wasn't allowed there. But we also shifted the bird into the kitchen area so that Bev wasn't allowed in there, so we weren't trying to squirt her for two different areas where she couldn't go, so there was only one area in the house that she couldn't go, which was around the kitchen.
And did it work?
Yes, yeah, it did.
Fantastic!
Yeah.
How's the cockatiel doing now?
Our cockatiel was very old. He was 28, so we don't have him anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, wonderful. Tell me a little bit about the routine that Beth is on. What is your day-to-day?
So Mike and I get up early in the morning and take her for a walk. That's about 6 o'clock in the morning. And then she kind of gets fed, not on a very strict schedule, but about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then usually again anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30 at night time. So she isn't really left alone too much. So there's usually only a couple of hours during the day that she's by herself, but she just tends to laze around really and likes just to be where we are.
That sounds good. What's she doing when she's alone? Do you know?
No. We've actually had some building work here, so I think she's been pretty interested in what's happening there the last few days. But generally, I think she just mucks around, does a lot of sleeping. Yeah, doesn't get up to too much, I don't think.
Well, you would know it when you come home if you
Yeah, exactly. When we first got her, she was doing a lot of digging. And I'm not sure if that was a nervous thing, or maybe she hadn't had the opportunity to do that before being a race dog and being in kennels and things like that. So, but she seems to have stopped that. So,
Well, she seems certainly to be fully at home. That's no worries about that.
yeah, she's very relaxed, very laid back, and yeah, for a big dog, she doesn't feel as though she takes up much room because she's just so relaxed. She'll either be on her bed, and then just wants to be where we are really. So if we're outside, she'll come outside with us. If we're inside, she'll just relax on her bed.
Wonderful. Paige, Tammy, how do you like Biff?
Well, I really like her because I get to play with her outside and do all the stuff.
Wow, what do you play with her?
I play with a little polar bear with her and this little squeaky toy that she always squeaks.
Oh, is she excited when you squeak it?
Yeah.
I can, she's already looking at you. So that's her favorite toy?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. What is, do you take her out for walks?
Yeah, we do. Yep. As I said, we've got that one in the morning, but we might take her for another couple of walks in the weekends as a family. So we tend to keep her on the lead, not because we're worried about her behaviour with other dogs, but mainly that if she sees something like a cat or a rabbit, we're just a bit fearful that she'll take off, and we know how fast she is, that we wouldn't be able to get her back. I think one of the challenges that we had when we first got her is that she didn't really know many like household commands, and she really didn't know her name either. So until she knew what we were asking her to do, we kept her on the lead when we take her off the property. But at home, she's always off the lead and she can do what she wants.
That sounds so good. Do you know anything about Bev's racing history?
We did a little bit of research on her, and she had quite a good racing history. She had won most of her races, and she had won about $28,000. So I would assume that would be pretty good money. Yeah.
And what was her racing name? Do you remember?
Bev's Viewpoint.
So this is Bev's Viewpoint. Wonderful. So I have 10 surprise questions for the Greyhound owner. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, so question number 1. What is Bev's favorite treat?
Her favourite treat would be, I guess we give her fresh dog food along with biscuits and things like that. She can give and take her biscuits, but she'll always eat her fresh dog food. So we don't really give her too many other treats. We're quite strict. She might get a chippy if we've got a bowl of chippies on the bench, but that's about it.
Wonderful. Number 2. How long was your longest doggy walk with Bev?
Our longest dog walk? Maybe 40 minutes. Then we find actually she gets quite tired, like she's really energetic on the way out, but on the way back she gets a bit tired. 40 minutes is about it. Yeah.
Is Bev allowed on the bed?
No. She's not allowed on the couch either. This is her one and only treat.
Wonderful, just for the show. That's lovely. Thank you for that. Number 5. Does Bev sleeps in a pyjama?
Yes, in the winter time we do have a jammies for her, yeah. And then also if I'm going to be out and the weather is cool, we've got a waterproof jacket that I put on her when she's going to be outside, yeah.
Paige, tell me, what's the colour of her pyjama?
It's blue and green checkered.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Number 6. What does Bev do when she demands cuddles?
She can get a bit mischievous around tea time, but she doesn't really demand too many cuddles actually. When we are giving her, patting her, or visitors come, she tends to lean into you and she'll lean on you to keep going, but she's not an attention seeking dog.
So she's a really easygoing dog.
She is very easygoing, yeah, perfect dog.
Okay, number 7. What was the smartest thing Bev ever did?
Ooh, Paige, can you think of the smartest thing?
No.
She's smart and she knows what she wants. She's not like got into somewhere where she's not allowed to go, that type of thing, or figured out stuff.
Fantastic. So, number 8. Is Bev snoring?
Yes.
What else does she do in her
She
sleep?
also chatters her teeth and wags her tail.
Yes.
When she sleeps?
Yes. And she does a little bit of yelping sometimes, doesn't she? Like she's running a race or having fun with a friend or something like that.
So, number 9. I think Paige just answered that question. What is her favorite toy again?
The polar bear or the squeaky toy.
And the last question. Do you want an additional greyhound?
I probably wouldn't take on 2, not because that they're any hassle. I think 1 is enough for us.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you on the show.
Bye.
That was so enjoyable, right? To see
Yeah.
this beautiful home that Bev lives in, and she looks so at home, and she's been there now for a year.
Yeah.
Like a year.
She's so chill. They like leave the gate open. She just is such a chill dog.
Yeah, we shouldn't say that. Don't leave the gates open.
No.
But they only leave when they're around, and she's actually not running away. She would if they
They
wouldn't
can
be
cut
around.
that out.
Well, no, 1, maybe not. Anyhow, so there was something I wanted to say about this. Now I lost my thread of thought. About Biff. My personal experience is with my own greyhounds that I had 3 meanwhile, and also the greyhounds I know, and the greyhound owners, friends, and some customers of Hounds for Life, that the greyhound comes in your house and is actually quite shy normally, right?
Yeah.
And it probably does not much and just hangs out on a place and watches you maybe for months.
Yeah, I would say 3 months. It took
Yeah.
about 3 months for a second to come out of her shell.
Yeah.
She was very shy.
And
And now
I-
she's
Yeah.
not shy.
No. And also I actually have seen the personality of Bella coming out it probably took actually half a year,
Yeah.
more than 3 months. Of course that varies with the greyhound. So it is very common that the greyhound comes to your home and you would be surprised that it is not doing anything
Yeah.
much, but then develops a personality that is very unique and very cute to see, and it's so joyful.
So cute.
And if you think about it, that the greyhounds never, in their life, it is such a strict routine when they are trained for racing, in their racing career, that they have just no room to develop any
Yeah.
personality. But then they come home and they have all the space, and
Yeah.
Once they came over the shock
Of having a whole house to themselves. Yeah.
then they fill out the space with lovely personalities. So
They
that's
do.
another thing that's just beautiful about adopting. a greyhound. Right, so we are talking about our first of the week now.
Yeah.
Which is Star. She is a star, I think. She
truly
is so easygoing. She was immediately like, finding herself in the routine at Hounds for Life. She's up for adoption. So have a close look.
Yeah.
When you consider.
She's very sweet.
She's
quite a small greyhound as well.
She is a female.
See.
She's a little bit under. Yeah, she's a little bit under average.
Yeah.
For a female. However, I don't think she's good with cats.
No, that is the only.
No,
What
not
would you
good
call
with
that?
cats. Maybe also not good with really small dogs.
No.
But having said that, if it's your own dog, you can train them.
But a lot of people that do have greyhounds or do want a greyhound don't have cats. I mean, I think that's just you.
Okay, let's go. Enjoy the segment.
Have fun. Hi podcast family, today we're here at the Hounds for Life headquarters with our girl Star. Star was previously known as Don't Muzzle Me, and she is a 5-year-old girl available for adoption. She's super sweet and she's obviously very at home on the couch. She's a very, very good girl. She loves playing with her toys and loves to socialise with people. We generally have her out and about with us, which is awesome. Star was raised for quite a while. So she's definitely ready to have her own home and her own family, her own couch. She's ready to go. Aren't you, girl? Are you a good girl, Star? She's tired. The interview is just exhausting for her. She needs a home, please. All of our dogs that are available for adoption here, they are all spayed, they're vaccinated and they're microchipped. They're all ready to go. So all you have to do is come and meet a dog and then you can apply formally. And we will do a home check, which we actually talk about in this episode. And then if that's all good, then you go on a foster to adopt basis for 2 weeks or so. And then generally it doesn't last that long. We had Ashy, my girl, for 1 night. And now she is our girl and we couldn't imagine life without her.
Little darling, it's been a long, long racing season. Little darling, it's time to rest and find a home. Here comes the hounds, didn't you know? Here comes the hounds, and I say it's for life. Hounds for life. Hounds for life.
If you're interested in adopting Star, please message us and we will put you forward to our adoption agency, Nightrave. See you guys. Say bye, Star. Boo, boo, boo. She's so sweet. Okie dokies. So the last segment for this week's podcast is us taking you around Picton. But this time, rather than be in the town, which I hope you enjoyed because
It was quite fun.
it was fun. Rather than us taking you through the township, we are going to take you to a place called Queen Charlotte Drive. We'll pop a map in. And we're going to take you on a walk with our greys through the bush. So they've just developed this walking track.
Yeah.
So it's for cyclists, walkers...
With dogs, or
and
without.
With or without dogs, because not everyone has a dog. That's
I can't
totally
believe that.
fine. That's cool.
How's it possible?
Everyone's different. And yeah, so we're going to take you around. So Queen Charlotte Drive actually spans from Picton to Havelock, which is quite far. You probably wouldn't want to walk the whole length with your greyhound, mind you, some may.
No, definitely not. The thing is about the new put-in pathway, which is not always close to the road, so it really goes through the bush and alongside the shore of the Pacific Ocean here in the Marlborough Sounds. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It has exit and entry points, so you can park your car there and go just a segment of it.
Yeah.
And we are taking you to a segment which is called Shakespeare Bay. That is a part of Picton where the commercial harbour is, because we are big in wood, growing timber, and this is the actually the harbour where the big vessels are loading up the timber to go to mainly to China, I think. Yeah.
All over the world, quite possibly.
Little darling, it's been a long, long racing season. Little darling, it's time to rest and find a home. Here comes the hounds, didn't you know? Here comes the hounds, and I say it's for life. Hounds for life. Hounds for life.
Want to see us and the Greyhounds again, please subscribe and put the notification on, and check out when we want to be air every fortnight on Tuesdays New Zealand time. Yeah, and also please comment below if you want to see something special.
Yeah.
You know, we are so happy to get some theme ideas of our segments.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What you like us to show, look into. Of course, all Greyhound related, right? That's self-explanatory.
And you can also send us snippets of your greyhound. Like in the first episode, we had a snippet of Ziggy, which was freaking cute. So you are welcome to send us snippets of your greys, your family's greys, whatever. You can send them to houndsforlifepodcast@gmail.com, and we will feature them in our episodes.
And it should be less than 30 seconds.
Yes, please, because, you know.
An MP4 format.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome.
you.
Not many requirements. It's so easy.
That's it. Okay, you have a great week or great 2 weeks until we see you again.
Awesome. See yous.
Bye.
No. Shush it.
Okay, very good. All right, that is so drastic. Okay, off you go.
Okay.
Cry.
Please subscribe.